Okay, so a surprise really to no one, I don't think. Ye and Drake go into this conversation where they've been beefing for so many years, right? Ye and Drake have been beefing for so many years. It's brought so many people into this conversation. And I think we're going to really take a deep dive into this whole beef. Some kind of side remarks from me because I look up to a lot of people that were in this beef that Ye and Drake brought into this beef. They probably did it unintentionally, but there were a lot of people that were brought into this beef dealing with just Ye and Drake, which I don't think they saw was going to happen, but it happened and kind of hurt and helped a few people's careers in the making of this whole beef that I don't really just is from one video, right? It's just from the Best I Ever Had video. Visual differences, I think that was a huge problem between Ye and Drake, but we'll really get into that. So let's talk about it right after a word from our sponsor.
Hey everyone, it's me, Drew Offwallow, host of the Comment Section Show. Come join me and one of my iconic special guests every week on the show as we dive into the dreaded comment sections of our tagged videos and take down the most terrible men on the internet, period. Somehow, they won't go away no matter what I do, no matter how incredibly awful and mean I am to them, but I don't mind doing this work. In fact, if I'm being honest, I think it's God's work. So make sure y'all follow me on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts for new episodes every Wednesday.
So people will say, so is it a coincidence you're talking about Kanye again in the news? No, but Kanye has elaborated on a lot of things in his Drake Champ interview that was generally just made public for a lot of different people. So we're going to kind of talk about all these different people and the impact that this beef caused for a lot of different people that shouldn't really been in this conversation to begin with. So as I stated before, this beef between Kanye, or now known as Ye, and Drake brought in a lot of different people. It brought in really two different labels. And these labels were big at the time. It was Good Music and it was Ymcmb, right? So when I say people brought unnecessary people into this rap beef, this hip hop beef, or this just beef in general, I think I'm mentioning two people that won't kind of get their credit because a lot of people didn't look at them as, hey, they were in this beef. So for one, Ye brought in Pusha T, and as normal, Drake brought in Lil Wayne. That's nothing special, right? That is nothing special at all. But it did bring a lot of people into this beef that I don't think necessarily should have been in this beef, and I'm speaking on Lil Wayne and Pusha T. Right? So Pusha T drops the infamous diss track on Drake, Ymcmb, Lil Wayne. I think it was called Inferno or Infamous, something like that. It was Inferno. I think that's what it was. It was Inferno, and it dissed everybody on Ymcmb, including Lil Wayne. And Lil Wayne's response to this was typical Lil Wayne fashion, which I find very weird, right? Because you bring a lot of people into your diss tracks, you bring labels into your diss tracks. Now, you've probably seen a video of Ye apologizing and saying that they should meet on the 7th of December for some event for Larry Hoover. But this is the thing. So without realizing it, and personally probably did realize it, Good Music and Ymcmb had a cornerstone of the market into early 2000. So it was no surprise when Forever came out. It was Kanye, it was Drake. I think it was Eminem and Kanye, right? So when they dropped this collab, right, it was different. A lot of people didn't expect it. And on Drake's sophomore album, Thank You Later, he did this song called Yes, on the sophomore album. Well, on the sophomore album in 2010, he did a song, and it was called "The Best I Ever Had." I don't think it was gonna thank me. I think it was "Thank Me Later." And a lot of people gonna say it's "Thank Me Later," and it might be "Thank Me Later." Not entirely sure at this moment who it was. I think it was "Thank Me Later." So, "Thank Me Later" drops, and we get "The Best I Ever Had." And not knowing it, I think Kanye produced this beat, so he thought he had legal rights to shoot the video the way he wanted to shoot the video. And granted, that's how a lot of artists do. They do get some visual directions from the producers and the directors, but Kanye didn't want to shoot it that way. So then it becomes this long feud between these two gigantic enormous labels running it at the time. And Big Sean, which, as I said, Big Sean was not supposed to be in the line. He made a few comments that he wasn't going to be in the line. He was like, I worked on that project with Wayne so long ago that I forgot, and when he put it out as his lead single, I was happy, right? So Big Sean, and granted, he is a good sign of big music, but but I think this is what Kanye means when he says he signed Big Sean. I think he's talking about this debate between Good Music and Ymcmb, or formerly known as Ymcmb. Big Sean said on an interview he was still working with Wayne, right? Him and Wayne were working on songs no matter what, right? And he released a single for an album. And Pusha T dropped the infamous diss track, which I think did play a role in it, but I'm not entirely sure because Lil Wayne, and I'm a huge Lil Wayne fan, but he drops like Ghoulish. I think the song was called Ghoulish. He drops Ghoulish, and it is one of the worst. It is one of the worst diss songs to ever be made by Lil Wayne, and that was Pusha T's response, right? That was Lil Wayne's response to what Pusha T had said. However, it would later show back up plenty more times on a lot of Ye's albums, Pusha T's albums, Drake's albums. And then we get to More Life, which some people consider an EP, some people consider an album. But on More Life, the song is not on the official track, but it is a song that should have been on the original track list. It's Two Birds, One Stone. And as I said, they brought a lot of people into this into this little beef that shouldn't have been in there. And he released Two Birds, One Stone, and he goes for Ye, Pusha, and he makes a smart remark about Kid Cudi and Kid Cudi's mindset at the time, right? But I think if they had kept it between Drake and Ye, we really wouldn't be in a situation where Jay Prince, as we see in this video, is trying to smooth out the information, because Jay said in an interview that there's a lot of conversations he wanted to have, but they weren't trying to listen to it. So when he says it publicly, he's seen as crazy. And I think that's why Jay Prince got to Ye and said, hey, the stuff that you were saying, that's cool, but let's talk about it, right? Let's talk about it. Because we're probably both losing money, but this feud is stupid, right? So, behold, we thought the beef was gone. But then, not knowing to everybody, before Scorpion was released, a lot of things seemed to play with Scorpion's release. The beat that Kanye West did with Lil Pump, he used the beat, but he sent the beat to Drake, but he used it for the scoopity whoop kind of thing that Kanye was doing at the time. And Drake had the beat, but he couldn't use it no more. That's understandable. And then we get into Pusha T's Daytona, Drake Scorpion. And this is And this is where I think the beef restarted itself. And I think this is why Ye is calling the truce, because a lot more people from Ye's camp were involved with the beef. And this is kind of my problem with it. So Daytona dropped. It was what's on What Would Meek Do, and then something about Future Rose, which I don't know. Meek and Rose haven't been on good terms, but we're not gonna look at that. We're gonna look at Son of Adonis that Pusha T dropped, leaking. Really, I think information that was already known, but I think information that people were worried about Drake's child, and I think because there was rumor around that he had one, but no one knew who. So when Pusha T confirmed it, I think that was a shocking for Drake, but it was also shocking for Kanye. So they didn't know how to react, so they restarted this beef. So when I'm saying what would Meek Mill do, right? I think a lot of people were bought into this because Meek and Drake were bought into the game roughly at the same time, and that back-to-back was heavy. Was a heavy diss song for Drake. But Meek Mill made some great points about Quentin Miller. So I seen this coming, right? And that Quentin Miller line really did things for Meek Mill. So he says, what would Meek Mill do? And I think it was aimed at Drake, like, here to expose you once, we can expose you again. So the Son of Adonis, that's really what it was. He just kind of laid information on that people did not know. And granted, if you wanted to know, you could have looked it up. But a lot of people aren't going to look it up. And then it's infrared. I just cannot understand where whoever allowed this beat to go through. It was crazy. It shocked the world because on Daytona, on an album, on a track list, it was talking about Drake. Right? So that made a lot of waves and a lot of impacts on how people see Drake now, with glasses off, or just how he treats his kids. And I think that is the hardest thing, because Drake's image was this. He was loved. He was everything everybody wanted to be. But when Pusha T stained him, that image shattered for a lot of people. And they looked deeper into the music, and it wasn't there. So Drake drops 8 out of 10 this track, and I think it's petty. Like, it's very petty, right? It is very petty. 8 out of 10 is very petty. Because it just says, she liked it, you liked it, your girlfriend liked it, and her trainer did. You're probably the only person that didn't. And now, granted, this isn't one of Drake's, like, clever comebacks, but it still hit home. And then I'm upset is crazy to me, because Kanye was extremely upset about one of these lines, and he was talking about his I believe it's In My Feelings, where he talks about somebody that has the same initials as Kim Kardashian. And so, yeah, he doesn't say because that was his wife at the time, or they're still legally married. I'm not entirely sure on that situation. But that happens, and Ye goes crazy about it. So, that, and then and that's how you feel. There's a very small snippet at the end where Birdman is like, are you mad? And it's just, I think, it reasserts that Ymcmb, okay, we're back. Because Drake said, I told Wayne I'm going to take care of you. I think that was enough for Pusha T, and that was enough for Kanye, right? And that line restarted the feud. Ye was like, all right, so you can't go at this person because he's on my camp, and I can't go after this person because they're in your camp. But if you're going to keep supporting you, I'm going to go after you. And that's a humble response, but we're still... So, CLB didn't really bring any beefs up. And I didn't really bring any beefs up, but I'm still waiting for these singles where they're going to start dissing people again, because this could initiate some more flames, but Kanye is calling a truce, which I would say, if I'm Drake, I would take that truce because somebody on your behalf tried to start that deal up, and they started the deal up. I'd go follow through with it. Jay Prince is somebody not to mess with, so I would take that deal. But overall, I think we could see the end of a very long feud, and they could make amazing music if they put a few things aside. They could be like one of the legendary collaborators, producers, and artists, and two artists with one of the greatest collabs, right? So we'll see where this goes from here. We'll wait for the 7th and see what really happens. But as of right now, nothing really happened, so we're all good, and it should be fun to talk about. So, what's your thoughts on it?